Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is the first video in a new series that I'm doing on landscapes from the national parks. So we are going to be painting a landscape from Yosemite National Park for this first tutorial. And you can go ahead and comment below with the national park that you'd like me to do next. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I have a piece of watercolor paper that I have just taped down on the edges. I've used some artist tape. I'll put the links for the supplies in the description below so that you can get the exact ones that I'm using. But I just took a 9x12 sheet of watercolor paper that's just basically your standard size, and I've just cut mine in half, so I'll most likely be using half sheets for my different landscapes. So I'm going to start off by just doing a little simple sketching, and I know that sometimes people like to trace their sketches, but I'm going to try to keep these super simple so that you can go ahead and get a little practice with sketching things yourself. So I'm going to just start off by drawing the basically kind of like the horizon line, like basically just where the ground stops, and it's going to be about a third up from our paper. So if we were to divide this into 3 sections, then I'm going to start with the very first section right there, and I might move it up just slightly, so just a little bit over a third up, and you can use a ruler or you can just freehand it, and it's just going to be a straight line across, so super simple. And then I am going to draw some straight lines up, so just, you can again use your ruler or you can just freehand it, so just a couple straight lines. This is going to be where some trees are, and then so I have 4 lines, and then I'm going to do a little wiggly line over here. This is going to be a different type of tree because we have these pine trees in the background, and then we have a couple that are more of the deciduous trees. So I just have a little wiggly line right there, another one right there. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are just basically guidelines. You can draw 2 lines down for a little trunk if you want, but basically we're just kind of mapping out where the different tree types are going to be. And then you can do some lines that go just right up to the rounder trees that we did, and then just do a couple little lines over here. You can make some shorter, some taller, and then I am going to draw a line over here that kind of goes up at an angle, and a line over here. So I'm just kind of basically marking out where I want the different color changes, because it's going to get gradually lighter with the shades of green and yellow that we'll be using. So I'm going to just do a line over here as well. And then we have some mountains in the background. So I'm going to just start up towards the top of the first tree that I drew, and I'm going to just go up, and you can just follow my lines. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Basically just want this rock formation in the background. And then I'm also going to add a little deer right here. So I'm going to zoom in so that you can see better. You can just, you leave this out if you want, because I know that this is a little bit more involved for this section, so this will be optional. But I'm going to start off by just drawing the head of the deer, so it's just going to be a little round shape. It's going to be pretty simple. I don't want a whole lot of detail. And then I'm going to draw some antlers up, so just branching up like this, and then one goes out like that. You're welcome to draw the rest, but this one is going to be kind of hidden in the grasses, so if you want you can add some lines up like this. But we are going to just leave it like that, and just without a whole lot of detail. So that is the sketch for now. If you want, you can add a couple little lines for the mountain just to do some little details right here, but you can again leave that out if you want. It just might make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna just add some right there. But there is the sketch, and then we will go ahead and start painting this landscape now. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and get started with our painting. So I'm going to be taking a size 10 round brush, and I am going to be using some lemon yellow, and I'm going to just paint in this first section right here. I'm going to also extend it over here. You can go ahead and paint right over the deer because we will go back in with some darker colors, so it won't matter. I'm going to just bring it down about halfway in this space that we've drawn, and then I'm going to take some new gamboge. That's more of just like a normal yellow color. The lemon yellow is more of a color with a hint of green to it, and I'm going to just bring this yellow color, and I'm going to let that dry. I am going to take a little bit of paper towel and just dab along the very edge right here to create some white space. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to move on to the mountain. So I am going to start off by mixing some black and purple together. So I want to create a purplish gray color, and I'm going to make sure that I really water this down, and I'm going to fill in the mountain area up here. I'm gonna just take some water and just spread this pigment out even more. And then I'm gonna leave this section right here dry for now, so I'm not gonna bring that paint over there. Just gonna go around it. And then I'm going to add just a little touch of Scarlet Lake to make this mix just have a hint of red to it. This is more of like a pinkish gray, but it still has that purple tone to it as well. And then I'm going to really water this down, and I'm going to paint up here. I'm going to leave the very top section dry. I can go ahead and blend these two colors together. And then I'm going to take some cadmium orange and mix it with a little bit of Scarlet Lake to create like a pinkish orange color. And I'm going to use this at the very top right here because this is like a sunset picture. So there's going to be the sun on the top of the mountain right here. I'm going to bring it down here a little bit too, and just let the two colors blend together naturally. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to take some sap green, and I'm going to do a layer of that over here. And then I'm going to take some Windsor green yellow shade, use this down here. I'm going to take some more new gamboge, and I'm going to paint some up here just to help with that transition between the green and the yellow. Alright, so now we're ready to start working on some of the details. So I'm taking my liner brush, and I'm just going to take a little bit of a darker mix of that pinkish color that we used up here, and I'm going to just add some creases to the mountain and some shadows. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of a lighter mix of that and paint along here. Alright, and now I'm going to take some of that purplish gray that we were using before, and I'm going to add that up here. And then I'm going to very carefully, you're going to want to make sure that your brush is pretty dry, and I'm going to just very carefully paint some vertical lines just to add even more detail. And then this section over here is going to be a little bit darker. And then again, the vertical lines down. I'm going to also do some dabbing motions for some texture on the rock. And I kind of felt like I overdid it with that, so I'm going to just blend that out. I'm going to do some up here. And then I'm going to take some Payne's Gray, and I'm going to use this to paint at the very top of the mountain over here. And I'm using vertical lines. Looks like there's some trees up there. And I think I'm going to mix this with the purplish gray mixture that I was using before. And then I'm going to take some green and mix it with some black and some brown to get just a really nice dark green. I'm actually just gonna mix it with some dark brown. I'm using sepia. It's a really nice dark brown. And then I'm gonna use this to paint some trees, just dabbing little bits. And then now I am going to start doing the trees. So for the pine trees, you can just use different shades of green, and just like starting with this one right here, you can just draw the trunk basically, just like a straight line up. And then you can use your brush to just dab a pattern. Use maybe a bit of a darker green for these pine trees, and I'm gonna just do it like that. And then for the deciduous trees, I am going to be taking some green and I'm gonna just fill in one of them, and then I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna just dab a little texture onto them. And then once those are dry, you can go ahead and go in with another layer of paint and just add some more detail if you want. This is optional though. Alright, and then now I'm going to take my small brush and I'm going to take some gamboge, and I'm going to just take this color, and then I'm also going to be using some shades of green, and I'm just going to use these short strokes that are sort of slanted and curved over to that side for some grasses. So I'm going to use sepia for the darker parts and then burnt umber for the lighter parts. And then lastly, I'm going to just add a little bit of blue to the sky. I had already started to take off my tape, but as long as you have your tape at the top. So I'm going to just do some blue up here, and then I am going to just fade it off into the white. And then you can go ahead and remove the tape once this is dry. And I realized that I forgot to paint the tree trunks right here, so I'm going to just take some burnt umber and fill those in. And I just dabbed a little bit of the pigment off of the tree trunks right there, just because I felt like they were standing out a little bit too much. But other than that, my painting is finished. You're welcome to add anything else that you want to yours, and now you have a beautiful landscape of Yosemite National Park. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more, and I will see you later.